Okay.
Someone's echoey. Jake.
Hi.
Hey, bud. So we have Jake, we have Pat, and we have Jonathan. Is it Jonathan? Jonah? What do we call you?
Jonah.
Jonah. Okay.
Okay.
Jonah.
Jonah
With a
and
diamond vocal shirt. Look at a diamond vocal shirt, bud.
Oh, it's just a comfortable shirt.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I don't know. Well,
Uh,
that one. What's that one?
Crescendolls. It's from the Daft Punk animated music videos that they did. The ones that they worked with.
oh, yeah.
And we got a Geo. We got a Jake.
Hey,
we got a
Geo.
We got a Jonah.
We got a muted Geo.
Oh,
Oh no, there it is.
I hear.
okay.
I hear her, but
Okay,
she has
that's-
a muted icon.
She's a little, that's why I was like, you have a muted.
that's weird. Okay.
Whatever.
As long as we can hear Geo and she can hear us.
I'm gonna hook up to my AirPods.
How's our internet running, Geo?
Thanks.
Oh,
Ryan, my internet's fine.
good. Jake got a cat. Which one is that?
That's Monty.
Oh, hey, Monty.
Yeah, he's the one that kind of looks like your kitty.
Yes, yeah. Same toupee.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chase down Fisher.
Fun.
I think he was in there biting Rachel's foot, so she threw him in here with me. So Rachel's getting on right now.
Okay.
If our awesome internet connection will handle 2 videos at one time.
Woohoo!
Give myself a little bit of lens flare and some better lighting.
Oh, there you go, bud. like you're directed by J.J. Abrams. And we got a Rachel.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Now, I told Christian said he didn't think he could participate because he got continued on that show.
Right.
And I told him I don't care. Come anyway. You don't have to have any prep done for this. And I'm not sure if he's going to show up.
This is the prep.
Yeah.
I doubt he's gonna show up. He was feeling overwhelmed by it too. So I don't know.
I get it. So we have this is a good little team though. I like it.
Sure.
Rachel, can we hear you, Rachel?
She's
I
muted.
think you could.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
So now we got some fun to share with you guys.
Oh, there we go.
So welcome to Cyberpunk 2020. We're a little early, but we're all here, so we might as well start a little early. Hi, Patrick. This is going to be my first time running Cyberpunk. So
Pat, we lost you.
give it a second.
At least I lost him. I lost Pat. Did
I got
lose
Pat.
everybody?
I hear him.
We had Pat, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think you're really, Brian, you're not really losing people. It just kind of shuffles your pictures around.
Oh, maybe that's it.
So what we've got here on the screen that I'm sharing with y'all is a character sheet that I'm going to be building with you. I think Brian's the one that we're losing.
Brave out.
Which is cool because he came in making fun of my internet connection.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I see his eyes moving. He's trying to stay still like he's frozen, but his eyes are moving. So I'm gonna build this character along with you guys just so that you guys have a nice visual aid to work with. This character may or may not show up in the game. We don't know. I got a little write up from Brian. I've already discussed some things offline with him about his character that we won't get into because they're flavor for later. So all the so you guys have had access to the books that got shared. Those are my personal books from. There's a site called Drive Through RPG. They actually have an app for the iPad, and that's what I'm using over here for my books.
I think you're on mute.
Let's try this again. So, because it for some reason decided I needed to leave the call. And there's Brian hiccuping again. Brian mute everybody? I got a bunch of mute icons. So, okay, looks like Brian's fallen out of things. So I was telling Jonah and Brian in the test call, everything's available except for Netrunners, unless you have your heart set on Netrunner. And that's purely because Netrunners tend to be a little problematic in a group that's not all Netrunners, because either you have entire sessions where everybody is bored out of their gourds while the Netrunner is doing a 5-minute thing that takes a 3-hour session, or everybody's happy, but the Netrunner misses out on all the cool stuff that they can actually do. Cinematically, let's call it. But aside from that, everything else is open, from good old solos, rocker boys, corpse, cops, all that stuff, med techs, techies, fixers, all of that. And probably should have all gotten the email. It's going to be doing 75 character points. Theoretically, it's possible for you to start a game randomly with more than that. But the likelihood that you're actually going to end up with that is slim. Plus, this puts everybody on equal footing. Let's see what else is there. As we take away, your empathy is going to lead to your humanity, which leads to how much cyberware you can cram into your body. Cyberware is, for all intents and purposes, high-tech prosthesis. I posed a question to people now that if you were to have the option, would you voluntarily have a limb removed or a piece of your body removed to be replaced by a high-tech prosthesis? And the ones in the game are always better than what you physically have. But is that better? Does it take away from being what it means for you to be human? Well, in the game, it does. There is a cost associated with that. And when you run out of empathy, which is the stat that for every 10 points of humanity that you use for cybernetics, you lose 10 points. You lose a point of empathy. Now, that's a way of saying you've lost that much touch with the rest of humanity. And so you're slightly human. You're still technically human, but you don't necessarily have that feel of you don't care about other humans. So there we go with that. We do not need the D10s tonight. Those are we're really not going to be doing any dice rolling tonight. There are some calls for it in the book. The only thing that we may need them for is if you're buying cybernetics and the randomized humanity loss. But those are not a necessity. Also, if you just go to if you open another tab and just look up dice roller in Google, Google actually has an on-screen digital dice roller. So if you need to just do one real quick and your dice aren't handy, that's a fast and dirty way for you to do it. Look, it's Brian's phone.
So is there a fillable electronic character sheet that we can be filling in versus paper, or
yes, in fact, the on the in the page that Brian sent to y'all with the with the books, I recently added there's a downloadable PDF character sheet that's a downloadable fillable PDF character sheet that's in there. In fact, that's the one that I've got in my Adobe right now. And I am going to be getting with all you and filling in my own digital copies of your character sheets. Whether you got a physical one, because I know Brian's got his. And I mean, there is nothing like paper. I mean, I do still have my book. We do have a lot of interesting things to go on.
So did anybody else have any ideas for the character? I know Jonah was thinking corporate.
So far, we got a corp and a nomad, as far as I'm aware.
I think I'm going to be a fixer.
Good choice.
I went with med techie.
Nice.
Oh, you was.
I was thinking about regular techie.
Okay. Techie, med techie, fixer, nomad, and corp. That's a very reasonable group.
I don't know if this is if we play against each other or is it we start off ambivalent but we come back.
Team, buddy, we're a team.
You're a team. It's all purely cooperative. You're going to be, because you're not going to be able to take and do it. It's like a film set. Everybody can't do everything. Brian, I'm going to mute your phone at least for the moment, if that's okay. You want me to mute your phone? Or you want me to mute your main
corporate, I can't own all of you.
No, you can hire them, but you can't own them.
Well,
Maybe
maybe some of them.
Yeah. The medtech is probably going to be more likely to be working for trauma team or possibly an individual hospital or that kind of thing. Techies probably, chill out basements. And that sounds like a joke, but their specialty is fixing stuff. Having some issues there, Brad guy?
Oh, my entire sound setup just decided to stop working.
I had that earlier. We got the fixer. You know, they're the one looking for the jobs, finding the stuff, and finding what you can. So, and I think I forgot to mention in my original setup for this, there's a lovely one that I was originally going to throw this character together as a fixer, but since we got a fixer, there's no point in adding one. So the role for this guy that I'm going to be building is going to be a media. He's a YouTuber. He's a blogger. He's a Twitch streamer.
Nice.
So I know that we've got somebody who's probably not. There are a couple people that some characters may not be too thrilled with, but we'll go from there. We got a nice close up on Brian, and some crazy echo. Echo.
Not my fault. I didn't do it.
No, not at all. So, let's get rolling. We are going to be changing some things up from the what's strictly in the rules, because I want you guys to, be able to dive face first into everything that you can do. Right now, starting stat wise, you do have within the 9 primary stats: intelligence, reflexes, tech, cool, attractiveness, luck, mental affinity, body, and empathy. You have a 75 character points. If you want to have something that's over 10, I'd like to know why. But aside from that, we can work through putting those points where you would like them.
Wow.
This is a fun game of.
This is bookkeeping. This is the obnoxious bookkeeping part.
Now, everything does affect what you do in the future. Like if you have listened to a role-playing game and they talk about rolling initiative, that is reflexes. Intelligence is intelligence rolls, tech rolls. Explain cool.
Cool is Cyberpunk's a game of style and substance. It's so cool is literally cool, but at the same time, it's the situation of if you're
like under pressure.
Yes, that's very much one. If you're, there you go. If you're, it's like Brian when he sent out his concept for his character initially. It was basically the guy from the beginning of the Fifth Element, where he's got the very fancy hat with the image from Corbin's people. Give me the cash. Brian was talking about having a character with relatively low cool, and that's perfectly within realm for how you imagine that character. But at the same time, if you fail, if you're like trying to hold somebody up and you miss your cool check, you're going to shoot him in the face accidentally because you got just that hair too twitchy and just that little bit of not quite prepared for the way things are going to be, and for not ready for that surprise.
You okay?
Hmm.
Brian, if you'll say hi to Lizzie from at least me, if not everybody else.
Everybody says hello.
Hi, Lizzie.
Yeah.
Um, so with that, my media, I'm gonna put stats in now in the empathy and the reflexes. Those are both stats that um, that can be variable. Empathy is likely to go down. Reflexes is likely to go up. They are stats that, because cybernetics will cause an increase or a temporary increase, or drugs will cause an increase, usually temporary, but maybe longer running. But they're increased by outside influence. Empathy is going to go down with the amount of cybernetics you have. But your empathy is always whatever number you put in there. As you can see in one that I've shared, I've put a 10 in cool and a 10 in empathy. That's because this character's a media. Cool is also kind of your charisma. The attractiveness is literally how you look, but the cool is going to be your influence. And media, though not as useful as a Rocker Boy's charismatic leadership, you still need to have that presence when going around. I'm gonna be honest with you. As you see, I'm filling in numbers. That's the bulk of things. Is that you're picking the numbers to put in there. If you need an explanation of any given stat, movement allowance is how fast your character is going to move. Brian, with a borderline tweaker, is going to be throwing a lot into his movement allowance.
Where is that?
That's the
That's
MA.
MA, right?
Yeah. Okay.
MA is the movement allowance.
All right. Explain
I was mental
explain
acuity.
It to me.
So, and this is I'm pulling this right from the book. Movement allowance is the index of how fast your character can run. Important in combat situation. The higher your movement allowance, MA, the more distance you can cover in a turn. Run. To determine how far your character can run in a single combat round, approximately 3.2 seconds in meters, multiply your MA by 30. Character can run 3 times this distance at a full in a full second turn. And that's and you put that in the run section right here, the run section on there. It's basically somebody with a 10 movement allowance. They can run in 3 seconds. They can run 30 meters. They are supernaturally fast, and borderline ridiculous.
That's what I was going for.
Uh,
Borderline ridiculous.
and the thing is that like Brian, because his character is going to be all about the speed. Sorry, I'm using as an example, Brian. It's you I know already. um, because he's all about the speed. He's going to have a high movement allowance. He's going to have cybernetics that are going to jack that up. He's going to have internal wire work that's basically going to cause adrenaline surges on demand. That's going to allow him to amplify that movement so he can go as fast as possible in a combat situation. But the problem is he's also always running a little bit fast. So he's very, very quick in movement, but the filter doesn't necessarily catch everything between here and here. The line between idea and action is blurred with a character that's very fast, that's exceedingly fast, and that's the kind of thing. More think before you act is a situation that you can run into. That's not necessarily a trait of movement allowance. That's just an example of like how Brian is choosing to build out his character with some background stuff that he's passed on to me. Cool. Intelligence is intelligence. That's fair. Book smarts, that kind of thing. Reflexes are physical coordination. Running around, dealing in combat, those kind of things. Reflexes are going to come into play for accuracy and those kind of things. Cool is that what they have in the book is this index. It measures how well the character stands up to stress, fear, pressure, physical pain, and or torture. In determining your willingness to fight on despite wounds and your ability to your fighting ability under fire. Cool is it's your fight or flight reflex. The technical ability. It's how well you do with tech. The techie and med techie, that's going to be a big stat for you guys.
But max of 10, right?
Right. Unless you've got a reason like in your mind as to why you wanna have that higher than 10. Because remember, you only got 75 points. You got 9 stats, and you don't want to have as cool as it may sound. You don't want to have 7 10s and a 2 and a 3. Because that 2 and a 3, oh boy, that's gonna pose a problem later. I feel like my cat is around here misbehaving somewhere.
Okay, so if we think we have them done, should we run them by you?
Sure. Yeah, you can run them by me. I'm also, while you're telling me, I'm also gonna be kind of filling in my little bit here.
Or should I wait?
Well, let's give it a few minutes, and we'll see where everybody is.
What's that first stat, the INT again?
It's intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yeah, that's your book
Mine
learning.
is too.
They could look at IQ.
Well, the thing is that you gotta with this and with a lot of things. This was originally released in the late '90s. This was in the heyday of or in the early '90s. So this was in the heyday, late '80s, early '90s. And so they wanted to be different. Everybody had to be different. That's why you've got a cool stat in this. Because a lot of games companies were starting because of the popularity of D&D, but they also wanted to distance themselves because of all the oh my god, the demons kind of thing that went on way back then. So,
Pat, how do we figure out lift?
lift is going to be I think that was reflexes. Let me check real quick.
Or was it reflexes?
Movement, leap.
I thought it would be body, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's body. I believe.
Did I hear you can say you go higher than 10?
If you have a reason, if you have a give me a justification why, and we'll go from there.
Okay, there it is. That's the same thing as carry. You can carry 10 times your body type.
Yeah.
Got it.
What's REF? Again?
That's the reflexes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is always some of the more difficult things because you're trying to figure out where to shift things around.
You're playing a game of numbers.
Yep.
And it's always fun to want to let that attractiveness drop, but it can be really important in social situations.
An example for the attractiveness. If you've seen the trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, there are the now this isn't always the case, but some of uh, the people in that would have a lower attractiveness because of cybernetics. Like the guys, like some of the ones you may not think that if they've had half their face replaced. There's of course the one that you see in there with the woman with the basically the no lower half of her face that's putting on her eye makeup, but with her not having that lower part of her face is probably just a temporary thing because it's just easier for that period of time for her to not have that portion of her head in. But she's also probably pretty close to, and a lot of people wouldn't realize it's a full body conversion. And you do have everything in here from, having your arm, leg replaced to your brain in a jar inside of inside a walking tin can. And you guys have all the books you have the capability of looking at the books to have all those everything in that combination. Let me take a look at my sheet that I've been working on so I got to do math.
There's a lot of figuring out just numbers here, but then we get a lot more into backstory and what have you, motivations, blah, blah, blah. that stuff's going to be important
Right.
in a bit.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I am not a huge. I don't tend to combat when we get down to it is going to be pretty cinematic. Um, so rather than doing a lot of dice rolling, if you can explain it and it works with the stats and the skills that your character has, I'm probably going to let you do it without doing a lot of problem saying, like, not going to tell you no a whole lot.
But like, what if you have no skills and you just you put a lot of stats and luck?
Well,
How do you mediate that?
well, you will have a bunch of skills. You will have a fairly sizable amount of skills. But because you have 40 points to use on your profession's skills. Most people that don't have a lot of skills that they're dealing with, they're going to sit back and probably sock it in chips for them. That'll come down to cybernetics. A lot, not everybody, but the vast majority of the public that can afford it will have a chip socket. It effectively is a little thing in the back of your neck that you can cram effectively a little micro SD type card into, and it will give you skills. It will act as though you were whatever level of skill you bought that chip at. Immediately, just bang! I've got these skills. I know what I can pick locks like nobody's business.
I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu.
Perfect example. Except it's literally a chip that I know Kung Fu.
It doesn't stay.
Now I know lockpicking. So, as you can see on my character sheet that I just kind of been throwing together, my stats are pretty damn high, and you guys are probably going to be in similar ranges, I'm sure. So let me.
How do you figure leap?
That's going to be leap is your movement allowance, and that is you divide your run by
run
4.
Divided by 4.
Yeah, your run is sorry.
Run is 3 extra movement allowance, right?
Correct.
And then leap is your run divided by 4?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I mean, with the character that I've been setting up, the media, surprisingly quick and able to jump, not necessarily small buildings, but doing a pretty good job of getting over fences and that if push comes to shove. So it sounded like Rachel. You sounded like you had your stats kind of figured out.
Yep, I think so.
Okay. So
You want me to call them out or present?
well, you can just call them out to me. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to. You're going to see on the screen. It's going to be your character sheet. Get a glimpse at my setup when it. Okay, so what do we have for your intelligence?
Okay. So first of all, I'm a fixer.
A fixer, sorry.
I'm gonna move your dot. There you go. So I have 10, 8 for reflex, 7 for tech,
Okay,
9 for cool,
good choice.
6 for attractiveness, 9 for luck,
Important stat for a good fixer.
8 for MA, 9 body, and 9 empathy,
Okay,
which makes my run 24, leap 6, and lift 90.
okay.
Did I make any egregious errors?
Gonna double check this real quick. Pull out get the good old calculator.
How are you calculating run, leap, and lift again? Sorry.
Give me just a second. Sorry, I'm just
I
doing
can
it.
summarize. It's run is MA times 3. Leap is your run divided by 4.
All right.
And lift is your body times 10.
Perfect. Thank you.
So everybody got beginning to get their stats kind of ironed out.
And do you want my name?
Yeah, I love your name.
All right. I'm Rad Ray. AY.
Okay.
See, I thought you would have been RAE, but you know.
Well, I suppose.
Or are you?
Yeah, change it to an E. That sounds better.
There we go.
I got mine, Pat.
Okay. I am going to, for the moment, let's just do this because it's.
Oh, look, everybody.
Okay, yeah, because okay, so we got. Let me get the stats for Joseph.
It is intelligence 8,
Okay.
reflexes 10, tech 6, cool. What did I put there? 6,
Okay.
attractiveness 7,
Okay.
luck 10, movement 10, body 8, empathy 10, run 30, leap 7.5, lift 80.
Okay.
I think my math is right.
I will double check that.
Where's your bird, Gio?
Sleeping. Where's your bird?
Sleeping. You're just in the same room with your bird.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Yep, Joseph's. The math works for Joseph.
I like to live dangerously.
Okay. what I'm doing right now is I'm just opening up and saving individual character sheets for everybody, so that I've got the good old digital copies. Okay, sorry for that delay, everybody. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody's kind of got their stats where they like them. I know Rachel and Brian have got theirs. Gio, Jake, Jonah, you guys got them ironed?
Yeah, I got mine filled out.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I can, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so let's see. My handle is Big D.
Okay.
For Dostal.
Yes.
Okay.
If
Oh, thank goodness it's for Dostal.
For those of you who've never seen me in person, I'm 6'9", so yeah. I got called.
Damn.
So yeah. So I'm a techie.
Okay.
So intelligence 10.
Okay.
Reflex 8. Tech skills 10. Cool is 8.
Okay.
Attractiveness 7. Luck 10, because I'm still going to need to be lucky, even though I know a lot about technology. So movement ability 7.
Okay.
Body 7. And empathy is 8.
Okay.
So that's a run of 21, a leap of 5 1/4, and a lift of 70.
Okay.
Where are you going, dear?
Can you guys hear me drinking water? I'm wearing AirPods. I don't know what you can hear. You can.
You were right. The battery wasn't going to make it.
Yes, I
Jeez.
figured your battery. Look at the.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, has everybody been drinking plenty of water? It was a problem.
Hydrate.
It was a problem for me in like the first 2 weeks of lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, funniest part for me was that I was one of the last tattoos done in my tattoo shop before they got shut down. on the 19th of March.
Mhm. Wow. Brian, what's with all the guns?
I'm just
What
right
are you
next to my
doing?
prop cabinet. My Auto 9.
Oh shit.
My small Auto 9. I have a bigger one.
Where's Salacious Crumb?
It was over here.
And my
Oh, where's mine?
Oh my god. Everyone's just gonna start whipping out their pieces, I guess.
look.
Mm.
The thing is that this I'm very happy with. This was a birthday present from Brian.
Wow,
Wow.
that's cool.
What a nice present.
Well, Brian's got Salacious Crumb.
Ooh.
I have my lightsaber.
This just came in.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to start. Yeah.
A nerd off?
Okay.
You started a nerd off, Jonah.
No. Oh,
Oh no,
I had no idea.
No. Nerd offs. I'm probably gonna win.
Who is that?
I'll give you a clue.
Tron?
You're correct. It's
Yeah.
one of the characters. It's Quora. Brian and his surprisingly common gold cart Zelda.
In a frame.
It's framed. How do you play it?
I don't.
Don't you have a gray cartridge Zelda downstairs, Rachel?
Lot of Zelda. We couldn't afford Zelda. We got whatever was in the
I got one.
Blockbuster video
Oh, that's
used
cute.
game thing.
You know, this is starting to remind me of a kindergarten meetup.
Of course.
So we
That way.
Look, that's exactly what this is. Look, because I've got Toph in range.
Oh, that is cool.
I don't know. I haven't seen anyone pick their nose or in any strange angles of camera yet. So
I don't know. Jake called himself Big D a little bit ago.
Well, hopefully the camera angle doesn't.
That's just handle.
that.
I'll try and keep the camera angle appropriate for everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Jonah, Geo, who wants to go next?
I think I did mine all wrong, but I'll go.
Okay.
My handle is Walmarty. I'm corporate. My intelligence. Yeah. No, is it cold in New Mexico? Who's there right now?
I think it's not really that cold.
It's
No,
not really
it's
that
gonna
cold. Okay, that was my mom.
Okay.
Intelligence is going to be 10. Reflex 10. Tech 5. Cool will be 10. Attractiveness is 5. Luck is 10. Movement action is 10. Body is 10. Empathy is 5. That would make, so far, is there anything that you foresee to be a problem?
Well,
Probably empathy.
yeah. So this is gonna sound, it may sound a little interesting for now, but you're a corp, so surprisingly enough, having a low empathy and borderline not thinking about people as people almost fitting.
That's what I was thinking. Right?
Attractiveness. You're not Deadpool, but you ain't as pleasant to look at as anybody else so far.
Bunch of uggos on this crew is what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm probably the ugly one of the group. Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
There's always one, you know.
Yeah. You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing inaccurate or peculiar there. Let me
Okay. Well, then that would make run at 30, leap at 7.5, and lift at 100.
Yep, got those all in there. Okay, now we get to our finale. We got Geo.
Okay. Intelligence 10.
That should
Reflex
be your
8.
name, Finale.
No,
Yeah.
I've got a name.
Okay.
Tech is 10. Cool is 10. What is that? Attractiveness?
Attractiveness.
7. Luck is 7. I forgot what MA stands for, but I gave it a
Movement
name.
allowance.
That's the one. Body is 7, and empathy is 8.
Okay. And reflexes was what again?
8.
8. Okay. Doing the math because I just want to make sure. Not that I don't trust y'all, just it makes life easier, and this way everybody knows that I scrutinized everybody.
I'm assuming that was a cat.
Are you okay in there, dear?
I'm not entirely sure what that was. The cat's just sitting behind me.
My handle is Corey Haim.
How do you, Corey, what?
Corey Haim. Jonah's too young to know who Corey Haim is.
I don't get that.
Corey's parents were fans of the '80s and classic oldies from the from the heyday of cinema. Right before the first corporate war brought the United States to a crashing halt.
I am looking at a
Classic oldies
picture.
like
I
License
still
to Drive.
don't know who this is.
I don't look like him though. That my character doesn't look like Corey Haim.
Right, because
My
he's a
character's
10
name
in
is-
Because
attractiveness.
his attractiveness would be 10. Okay.
He might be 11.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I should have named myself Judd Nelson instead. Oh well.
But Judd Nelson is still alive.
Okay. So those are your stats. Gio, you were a med techie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure I've got everybody like correct in all that stuff. So now it's set up so that you don't have so you can kind of quick and dirty and make your characters and just run them. I'd rather you come up with your characters yourselves and your life events in that, rather than just going through a table, because you can make a family background or you can actually just come up with a family background and that kind of thing. I think it's going to be more fun for you if you actually sit back with what you've got and build that out.
But if you're
yourself.
stumped at all,
If you're
rolling is
stumped,
sometimes a fun way to go.
so when we come to skill checks, and this is where things are going to come into play, Most of the time, your character will be able to do most ordinary things without difficulty. Walk, talk, open a can of protein, food complex 35 without gagging. Certain things need a skill check. I've got a list of what those skills are, or what those difficulties are, in the book. So you'll make a skill check, determine which of your stats is the most appropriate to use, perform that action. Then, if you have a skill that's related to it, you add that, and then you roll a d10 and add that to get the number to whether, and that'll determine whether or not you succeed when all is said and done. So like a rocker, probably going to be a little bit better at playing guitar. I know that's a general thing, but they're going to be able to influence a crowd better than a corporate or a media kind of thing. Now each of you has a set of career skills. Those are the skills that are they belong to by the career that you have. That dictates what skills baseline you have. These are, you have 40 points to spend in these, divided amongst the requisite skills. Like Brian's, for example, as the Nomad, his are family, awareness, notice, endurance, melee, rifle, drive, basic tech, wilderness survival, brawling, and athletics. Jonah, the corporate, his are resources, awareness, notice, human perception, education, library search, social, persuasion, stock market, wardrobe and style, and personal grooming.
Let me ask again. So
Yes, sir.
we have 40 points to put throughout those, yeah?
Correct. And those 40 points can only go into those skills.
Mhm.
Those points are only for those. They're not for anything else. They are purely for those individual ones.
Now, I was reading the description of some of these, and it gave things like, if you have a +3, you have these skills. If you have a +5, you have these skills. Is there an in between? Like, if it gives you a 5 and what you can do at a 9, is a 7 worth it, or are you just wasting 2 points?
Those are basics. Everybody's gonna have their skills that they are actually that they actually use, and whether or not, because a net runner with their cyber tech knowledge is going to have a certain basic knowledge of things, but they're not going to. But they can pick and choose. The way I look at it is, for every point that you have in there, you are a borderline expert in this portion of that thing. And you get to pick what.
So, Pat, family is like number one under Nomad. Did we lose you, Pat?
I think he's on mute.
He's muted.
He says, wait.
Yeah, I'm muted. That my headphones decided that they needed to.
Oh,
connect.
Sony.
So, for some reason, so give me a. It's that pesky thing using my PlayStation headset rather than using a Bluetooth headset, which I'm sure would actually work a little bit better. But let's see if that works now. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah. These things work no problem on my PlayStation 4. Work great, in fact. Now.
Oh, Macintosh.
Yeah. But yeah, so, but the 40 points are going to be that. But like I say, it's one of those things where, it's not going to be a waste of points to have them be higher because it's basically those are just examples. Because I'm the one who determines whether or not you're likely to be able to do it. They base that off of Mike Pondsmith based a lot of this off of how difficult he thought a thing was. So so that's the reason why are kind of in that vein. So
So it is a linear. The points are linear, not stair stepped.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll basically be telling you whether or not I think you can do it by saying this is the difficulty. Like if you've taken and like there are things that I'm perpetually using Brian as an example. There are things that Brian's character, just based on what he's sent to me as a kind of an initial character write up, that are going to be easier for him than maybe even a comparable character with comparable skills. But there are also going to be things that he's going to be worse at than somebody with comparable skills. So the whether or not I think you're going to be able to do it is going to be me dictating how the difficulty is going to be in the skill checks. Is really the way it is. So, and the thing is that you could try picking a lock and be absolutely bollocks at it and get just damn lucky. So let me. Okay, so. So who needs their list of skills? Or of class skills? Okay, we got our med techie, Geo, medical tech, awareness notice, basic tech, diagnose, education, cryotank operation, library search, pharmaceuticals, zoology, and human perception.
Okay. Where's that list?
It is on if you're looking at the if you're looking at the source the main book, it's on page 44 under career skills.
So are we checking these, putting an X in the box on our character sheet?
If you're using a physical one, back in the day, I'd tend to just circle it. Right now, let me.
You have 40 points to spend in them, dear.
Oh, I divide 40 points among my
among your career skills, yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm using Acrobat Reader. Let me share my screen again. since I'm using the Acrobat reader. See if it'll give me guff. I'm taking, and you'll notice over here where I put some dots in there. That was just initial things. I'm using a highlighter to highlight those.
For some reason, I'm not seeing your screen.
It should pop up here in a second, theoretically.
Okay.
And you can take, and if you're using a Acrobat reader, you can highlight stuff, and that'll let you if you're doing that, you can circle it if you're using a physical character sheet, just to make life whatever you want to do to make your life easy. The dots next to everything and the X's next to them, that is for chipped skills. As I mentioned before, you can take and have skill chips. Those are going to be the things that let you plug the chip in and be able to just purely randomly know what's going on without any direct initial interaction of your own.
Right. You just plug it in and you know how to do it, basically.
Exactly. And you notice that it does have like persuasion and fast talk in the character sheet, even though in the because those are basically what it treats them the same way, and they're effectively the same skills. And you can also take, and with a lot of these, you should have been able to, if you'd looked at these skills, you'd have been able to tell what the stats that your character would be more likely to need, based on like empathy is a big thing for media, because they have the stats to interview people and that kind of thing. There we go. So you can see I just highlighted the ones that are the media skills. And they within reason, if anybody had come to me and wanted to specifically tweak out something different.
Pat, the family. What were we saying about that? Or for me?
So, family. Pull up the.
I know what it is, but with our discussion.
So, with you, your family is the people that adopted you. Let's call it.
That makes sense.
It's akin to kind of the way I like to think about it is you accidentally got jumped into a gang.
That makes sense.
Right. That's right.
Sorry, I don't know what correct is the theme of. By the way, you can now ask another question without having to first say, Alexa, enable this feature by saying, turn on file alert.
Everybody with their virtual assistants.
Welcome to 2020.
Hit the microphone button, Brian. There's a button with the microphone on it. That'll mute the mics. Gotta dust off the echo.
Yeah, I got it for free. I don't see a micro. I wonder if this does. What if I throw it?
That's why I just call it echo.
Let go.
Okay, so
Goodness, this is so much more complicated, Pat.
this is the hard part. Once you're done with the paperwork, then everything gets to be fun. Once the
So, Pat, I have a question. With
I have
the
answers. Let's see if
skills,
they match.
the 40 points,
Yes.
is there a maximum I can allow any one skill? And also, is there a minimum? Can I
Maximum of 10, minimum of 0.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you look on like page, I don't know, 46, they'll have things like like with family. If you have a 10,
Family.
you yeah, thanks. You may be the leader of your pack. So at 10 and family, you can control troops.
Like a 10 in family, which is Brian's skill as a nomad. He's a borderline. If you've watched Mad Max Fury Road, he's the leader of a 10 in family would be I forget the character's name.
Joe.
Immortan Joe. Thank you. That's a 10 in family. Actually, he's probably closer to a 12. But like the people slightly below him would be 10s, like the ones that have their own families. So those are the skills. The techie skill of jury rig, that's going to be, fixing shit, making sure that it works, and being able to make sure. And the better you are at it, the more stuff you can fix. Angus MacGyver has a jury rig of 10.
Angus?
Yes, Angus MacGyver. What?
His
You didn't
first
know that
name
was
is Angus?
Yes. Authority, like with a cop, would be like a 10 would be it would probably be like the borderline the chief of police. Maybe on the low side, if they're relatively fresh, they'd be a precinct captain kind of thing. Corporate resources a 9, or resources a 10. You're a CEO of a fairly large business. Not a megacorp, but you're a CEO of a smaller subsidiary of a megacorp.
Yeah, I'm like a yuppie.
Right. MedTech, a 10 in that, and you're able to make you're able to take, and with some surgical tubing and a bicycle pump, keep somebody alive who's had their heart removed. Where like it's the same scale on that. let's see. Fixer. Fixer with street deal. If you want it, I can find it. If you want it, I got it. If I don't got it, I can get it for you within the half hour. That's your fixer. You got the higher you are, the easier it is for you to get the stuff that people need or want. You need guns, I got them. You need there's a hard to find piece of cybernetics that was a beta test unit that the harder it is to get something, the easier it is when the higher your rank in street deal is with a fixer. It's of course all about the money. The only way that people are getting something for less is if they're, scratching your back significantly. In most cases. And one of the nice things about when you are dealing with your skills is that in most situations it's real easy to grab what you're gonna need what your main stat is because it's specifically tied to that. Because they do have them laid out rather nicely like that.
All right. You want to hear mine,
Repeat
Bob?
what you just said about being able to grab the skill.
1 second.
Your main skill.
Yeah, your main skill is for like the fixer, it's street deal is
Right.
that, and basically the better you are at that, the better you are at getting the things that you need, the things that you want as a fixer. And the thing is that surprise, as you've already started doling out your 40 points, your primary skill, your one that that's your class related, or your primary one, that's what determines your starting cash. So if you're an assistant in the corporate structure at a relatively minor subsidiary of one of the megacorps, you got a couple of months worth of Eurobucks and not necessarily at a high pay grade, but you can work around things. For like a rocker boy, I know Brian will appreciate this. I'd say Bono would probably be a 10. Rocker boy. That just makes sense to me.
Okay, I think I've got mine.
Okay. Let me grab Brian's first since he was kind of first up. Okay, so what's your family, Brian?
4.
Firmly.
4 family. Okay.
Family. Endurance 5.
Okay.
Awareness 6.
Okay.
Wilderness survival 3.
Okay.
Athletics 8.
Okay.
Brawling 3.
Okay.
Driving 5.
Okay.
Melee 3.
Okay.
Rifle 2.
Okay.
And basic tech 1.
Okay. Okay. So, Let me pull this up just so Brian. Now the pickup skills are going to be the next things that Brian you're going to be working on. Your pickup skills cannot be used for your base original ones. They are only for other stuff. You can't use those to add points to the existing ones. So you can't raise your family with your pickup skills. And you have 18 pickup skills, Brian, or pickup
It's
points.
the same thing. Highest is 10.
Yes. Okay, so who wants to go next on their career skills?
I've got mine.
Okay. Pull up Geo's sheet. Okay. So, what's your medical tech? We'll start with that.
8.
Ah, good doctor. Okay.
And then human perception will be 4.
Okay.
Awareness will be 6.
Okay.
Diagnose illness is 8.
Remember where there it is. Okay.
Education and general knowledge is 5.
Okay.
Library search is 1.
Okay.
Zoology is 1.
Okay.
Basic tech is 2.
Okay.
And pharmaceuticals is 5.
Okay. So, if you weren't already employed by Trauma Team, they're probably looking to recruit you. Whether you want to be in the hospital or out in the field, that's all up to you. But they certainly are going to be occasionally pestering you
Okay.
based on that skill level. You can just have that in mind that with those skills as a starting character, you're a bit of a medical savant out of med school. Maybe didn't necessarily do so great in the studying, but damn if you can't pull off a pretty damn decent bedside manner, and you can get shit done. Okay. And Geo, your pickup points are going to be you're gonna have 18 also.
Okay.
Pickup points.
And so I can spread those 18 points out amongst anything else on this list?
Anything that is not part of your career skills.
Okay.
So if you wanna have pickpocketing, you can have that if you really want to. Okay, so who wants to go next?
All right, I think I'm ready.
Okay, Rachel. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got your sheet up.
I'm going to go in order of the sheet here.
Okay, sounds good to me.
So street deal 8,
Nice.
intimidate 3,
Okay, 1 second. Intimidate 3. Okay.
persuasion and fast talking 5,
Okay.
awareness 6,
Okay.
Handgun 4. Melee 4. Forgery 2. Lockpicking 5. And pickpocketing 1.
Okay. Okay. And you're also going to have 18 pickup points to distribute. Again, those can go to anything except the except the defaults, except the ones that are part of your profession. Okay, Jonah, Jake, you can rock, paper, scissors for who gets to go next.
Go ahead, Jonah.
Okay, I think I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with resource at 9.
Okay.
Wardrobe style at 4. Human perception 6. Social at 5. Awareness notice at 4. Library search at 3. Persuasion at 5. Education at and education at 4.
Okay. Okay. And you've got 20 pickup points to throw, again, anywhere that is not one of your profession's skills. And that just leaves Big D.
Okay. So I have a jury rig of 8.
Okay.
Awareness of 3. Education and general knowledge of 3. Teaching of 2. Basic tech of 4. Cyber tech of 4. Electronics of 4. Electronic security of 4. Picklock of 4. And weaponsmith of 4.
Okay, well, okay, so I'm gonna go through what I've got the numbers for. I've got jury rig, I've got awareness notice, I've got education general knowledge, I got basic tech, I got cyber tech, electronics, electronic security, picklock, and weaponsmith. I know I missed one.
Yeah, I think
Which
the only
one?
one you don't have is teaching, and that is 2.
Teaching. Okay, there we go. Teaching at 2. There we go. Okay, and you have 18 pickup points. Again, those are for anything that's not amongst those.
My pickups if you want them.
Okay, great. Joseph, let me get those pickups from you.
Oh yeah, that's me. Dodge and escape 5.
Okay, 1 second. Okay,
Handgun 6.
okay,
Motorcycle 5.
okay.
Submachine gun 2.
There we go. Okay. Okay. So anybody else who's got their pickups figured out and wants to go next?
Yeah, I've got mine.
Okay.
Okay. Credibility 2.
Okay. You cannot
Oh
pick
wait, no,
this. Sorry.
I can't do that one. I
Yeah, I
cannot
can't
do
pick
that
up
one. I'm
special
sorry.
abilities. Yeah, no problem.
You're right. Sorry.
That's what.
Okay. Swimming 3.
Swimming 3. Give me a second. I gotta find them in here. Swimming 3.
Sure.
Okay.
Uh, resist torture or drugs is 3.
It's a good one to have, especially since you're probably likely to be surrounded by them.
Yeah. Dodge and escape is 3.
Okay.
Handgun is 5.
Okay.
And first aid is 4. I don't know. What do you? Is it dumb for me to have first aid skills if I'm already like med techy?
It really isn't, because there's a difference between being able to it's kind of the difference between a surgeon and a paramedic.
Okay.
A surgeon can go out in the field and fix somebody up, but they may not necessarily be the best at getting them stable. First aid, like most of your med tech skills are going to be pursuant on you having access to the right equipment.
Okay.
Most of first aid is, I don't have the right thing. How can I make this work and keep this guy alive?
Cool.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Great.
So it's not entirely ridiculous.
Okay.
Okay, so who wants to go next?
Are all of the skills, can you get an implant or put it in your little port for all the skills, or how do you know which ones you can
The
acquire?
only ones that you're not really going to be able to chip in are going to be the special ability skills, the ones that are the focus for your profession. So like street deal isn't going to be something you're going to be able to chip in, but there's no reason why you can't chip in a handgun or first aid or that. These are all things. So, and of course, the higher the skill of the chip is, the more it's going to cost you. But realistically, any of the skills that are I'm looking through. I don't. Yeah, anything except for the special abilities. Those are the only ones that you're not going to be able to chip in. I'm just taking a glance over them. You're never going to be able to, without some serious effort, get something as high a level as you can naturally get by learning a skill through chips. But if you need to just, I gotta get in here and the lock picking isn't, and the guy who knows lock picking isn't around. Did you print out the whole book, Brian?
No, just the sections I knew I'd want to
Okay.
read because I wasn't sure when this was going to arrive.
Okay. I was just like, you're flipping through the pages. I'm like, huh. But yeah, so yeah, anything. So those you will end up getting. There are going to be fees for those, but if you want to do that, but that's but again, you can also learn all of those. But like when it comes to painting or drawing, like you're not going to be able to take and socket a chip and be Rembrandt. It's just not going to happen. You'll have the skill, but you'll know how, but the texture of it won't be there. Let's call it the understanding.
Okay, I think I have mine.
Okay, just a moment. Community, I've got yours up. So what you want to do?
Okay, I want a 2 for drive,
Okay, good choice.
a 2 for hide,
Give me a second. Gotta. Is that a 2 for hide?
yes.
Okay.
A 3 for pilot, and I want a gyro.
Okay.
That's like the helicopters and stuff, right?
You are correct. Yes.
It's a Greek sandwich.
I want a 6 for pharmacy.
Okay.
3 for cyber tech.
Okay.
And 2 for dodging.
Okay. And of course, they didn't
what
add
happens
any
when
more
you? Sorry.
Oh, no problem. What's up?
What happens when you die?
What happens when you die?
Is that it?
Yeah, we're gonna get
Now that we're going to
get
start
real
You go to heaven or
philosophical in
hell?
here.
everybody turn in your Bibles.
So it all depends on your level of spending. Because if you take lethal damage and you've got a significantly high trauma team contract, trauma team is going to be sent. Trauma team is because it's all about money. Let's be realistic. Trauma team is a company that they specialize in trauma rescue, and they are a combination of your average everyday paramedic that you have in your brain and SEAL Team 6. Depending on the level of your contract with Trauma Team, is how quick and hard the response is going to be. If you've got a basic Trauma Team account and you are in the middle of a firefight and you get shot in the face, well, Trauma Team is going to wait until the fighting has gone away from your body to come get you. And they'll see what they can do. They'll probably throw you in cryo and they'll try and keep your brain from having too much damage, but you're not necessarily going to end up in the best spot if you're in a major firefight with a Trauma Team basic. If you have a Platinum Trauma Team account, you're gonna have an armed coterie of soldiers coming in that are blasting their way through the people who were shooting at you, and picking you up, throwing you in a cryo tank, taking you to their facilities, and keeping you alive. And they're going to be there in minutes of a life-threatening injury.
That's great news.
So, but on the same side, you can also pay money to take and have a digital version of yourself automatically backed up to the cloud, so that if you got the money, you get shot in the face, and instead of waking up dead, maybe you've
You wake up dead.
spent the money and you end up in a Gemini that
Dang.
looks like your old one. Or if you didn't quite have the funds for everything together, because of course it's a contract, maybe you've just got an alpha class, and so you're rolling up in a full body replacement with a digital version, kind of Ghost in the Shell style, where you've got the cybernetic brain. Right now you're meat and meat, but there are people that are digital and meat. There's people that are meat and chrome, and and then there's plenty of people that are chrome and chrome. But eventually the money runs out.
And then you die.
And then you don't have. Then you can't be backed up to the cloud. Then you don't come back. But unless somebody is paid for it. And kind of an example of that is because I know you were, Jonah, I know you were looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. Keanu Reeves' character Johnny Silverhand, he's a rocker boy in 2020. He's in fact their demo character that they go through whenever they give whenever they use as the examples. It's Keanu Reeves' character. But in 2077, he's a chip in your head. He is the full Johnny Silverhand experience. But you're the only one who can see him, and he's living in your he's taking up residence in your brain.
Okay. All right.
So I mean, if somebody were to get a hold of your cloud backup from back in the day and dump you in a chip, you could end up in a new body years
Otherwise,
after
I'm just
you're
like the Microsoft paperclip.
Clippy.
You could very
Clippy.
easily be Clippy.
I noticed you wanted to kill some people.
All right, cool. There's a way out of it. There's a way to cheat death. Sounds like.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Cool.
as long as you got the money, you can always cheat death.
Well, glad I chose corporate. So I think I'm ready to. If everyone.
Okay. Okay, Jonah, let me grab your pickups. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm gonna do credibility 4.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, credibility is one of the special abilities, so you can't do that one. Special abilities you can't are ones that you can't do. Those are basically profession limited.
I think I did all of them in the special. I'm looking for the list that is special. Is that under?
It's basically everything that's not special abilities if you're looking at the list in the if you're looking at the book, it's the master skill list on page 45. Everything below
Okay.
everything other than special abilities.
All right. I have some backups.
Okay.
So, seduction at 3.
Okay. Okay.
Intimidate at 3.
Sorry, I gotta find intimidate. Okay. Okay, intimidate at 3.
Interrogation 4.
Okay.
There's something called charismatic leadership. I don't know if there's also something called leadership, or are they one and the same? Yeah, there's one in empathy.
Yeah. So you want to do
Okay.
leadership? You want to do leadership of
3.
3?
Leadership or authority?
What was that?
Authority is the cop skill.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Oratory at 3.
Okay.
Wait, what did I put for interrogation?
4.
Okay. Painter at 3.
Okay.
Let's see if that adds up.
And you had 20.
Right.
Now, what I'm kind of seeing you as is Michael Douglas in Wall Street. That's what I'm kind of.
Except my stock market's at 0.
Yeah,
Greed is good.
but on the corporate side of things, because you've got the high resources, so you're high, so you're pretty damn high in the company that you work for. Not all executives are great with the stock market.
I wouldn't even know how to pretend to be good at it in a game. So.
But as far as like the way I look at it is kind of the smarmy smarmy exec who got to where they certainly didn't get there because got there more because of their luck than their looks, but and their secretary does most of the computer wrangling for them. And they only
yeah, I'm gonna have
barely
a whole slew of people doing things for me. My driving's at 0. I'm gonna need to
yeah.
be driven around. Yeah, I think that adds up though.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so who's going next?
I think I might be the only one left.
Double
D.
check. Yep, I think you're right, Big D.
Okay.
Big D.
D.
With the bells are ringing. Let's see. So I have a resist torture drugs of 5,
Okay.
persuasion and fast talk of 1,
Okay.
programming 4,
Okay.
and handgun of 5,
Okay.
and gyro pilot of 3.
Okay.
And my total was 18.
Yes. Okay. That's going to be we've got certainly an interesting combination here.
Better to have an
Got a-
interesting combination than a boring one.
Oh, well, we got a couple of gyro pilots, a couple people flying around in helicopters. We got we got the nomad who's got the motorcycle, who knows how to drive but prefers his motorcycle.
They're about
And we got
right.
the med tech and the corporate who are if pressed could drive, but are usually in the back.
I
And
don't go anywhere. I live at the hospital. So
well, you say that now.
yeah.
Or you did.
So now comes adding the chrome. Now we've made the flesh. Next comes the chrome. So
Mhm.
let's see.
So I went through and checked off the stuff I want.
Okay. So
You know, whether or not I can afford it or what you're going to say about it is.
yeah, that's going to be where things get. Well, I've already discussed things with you
Yeah.
on some of that. So because of where we're starting things, and because I want you guys to be able to have some flexibility, we're going to start out with 6 months of whatever your level of skills pay is. So like our nomad got 6,000 euro dollars, to start out with, and that's to buy your initial equipment, your initial cyberware, everything that's a part of you. That's to buy. That's to your apartment. That's your vehicles. That's your cybernetics. That's all of that. So this is you walking out of your apartment on day one. How this. So Brian, you've got 6K to work with. Geo is doing quite well for herself with 42,000.
Ooh, rolling in it.
Oh,
Mm-mm-mm. Med school paid off.
paying for itself.
Then Rachel, you are starting out with likewise 42,000. So you got plenty to work with to start things out with.
We probably shouldn't blow all of our cash on like all at once at the beginning, right? Or what do you
Well,
think?
that's gonna be something that's gonna happen here in a couple of moments that we're gonna be finding out. So Jonah, you're sitting at $54,000 or 54,000 euro bucks.
Ha ha. Doesn't seem like that much.
Jake,
More than 6.
oh well, Jake's feeling slightly less flush than some. at 24,000.
Okay.
And then Rachel, our erstwhile fixer, yeah, is at 42,000.
6.
You're a nomad. You're homeless. Like,
Yeah, I don't need much.
Yeah, but remember, Joseph, we've got some side stuff going on there. So now is gonna be the fun part, because this is where I get to be mean.
Uh-oh. He's gone.
Left the room. Should we
That
be
might
worried?
change your stats. Oh wait, he still has headphones on.
It's always bad when I bring out the D6 dice bag.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah, well, this is where you want me to roll well for you, because I'm doing these rolls for you.
All right, bud.
Because this is basically going to be to find out whether or not you're going to have any income coming in from your day job. Because depending on how I roll, you may or may not have just gotten fired. So we'll start with Brian.
All right, bud.
Brian, you're fine.
Thanks.
You're still
How'd roll?
Did you roll?
yes. I've got my table over to the side, and I'm gonna go in order that I got the character sheets loaded in here. So Rachel, not that you're not already pretty much an independent contractor, but you know somebody was looking out for you. Ooh, unfortunate. So you're gonna be trying to negotiate. Rad Ray is gonna be trying to make her own contacts, trying to jack some resources from people who she's dealt with before.
Can I apply for unemployment?
Unfortunately, that's no longer an option in this world. So that's the thing, is that then's when you may be a little more frugal with your starting funds. But that's also going to give you incentive to get a band together and do something interesting. Try and make some cash. So next, we've got Jonah. We got Walmarty. Let's see if Walmarty's having a bad afternoon. Walmarty is not having a bad afternoon. He's still in the boardroom.
Yeah.
We got Big D here.
Oh, Tyrion.
Big D, sadly, you are now looking for a new gig.
Oh, webcam
no.
shit.
Yeah, don't we get to cash in any of these luck points we spent money on or points on?
Those will come into play later. But and now we got Corey. Got Corey Haim over here. Let's see if I can manage to do this without dropping stuff on the floor. Corey kept her job. Corey kept the job. Now I do want to make now I do want to check with everybody. I know Joseph, male. Rad Ray, I'm assuming female.
Correct.
because this is, something that is actually up for debate in this world. Walmarty, I'm assuming also male.
Male.
Big D, same thing, I'm assuming.
Hermaphrodite.
Absolutely.
Geo,
Male.
Well,
man, woman, somewhere in between.
Both.
born
Interchangeable
female
Neither.
and sexually ambiguous at the moment.
At the
Okay.
moment.
At this hour.
Corey was Corey's the kind that's maybe investigating the Mr. Stud for options.
That's a self-help book he's
I think
reading.
we're all investigating Mr. Stud.
Investigating Mr. Stud.
Well, it's the thing of like I don't know how many video game players we've got in the group. I know Jonah is since from the conversation during the test conversation, but it became a big deal that Cyberpunk 2077 was going to have customizable genitals, and that's
Nice.
great, and everybody's losing their mind about that. Except when you sit back and realize that Cyberpunk's always had the Mr. Stud and the Midnight Lady. So having a character that was having a character that was born male, born female, it's easier than ever to decide you want to be something else.
Yeah.
So y'all got a lot of money. Except for Joseph.
No, some have a lot of money.
That's for Joseph.
Brian, is your character's name Joseph, or does Pat just randomly call you Joseph?
He calls me Broseph.
I know you guys go way back.
Joseph.
Yeah,
With a
his
Z, so
yeah.
My friends call me Broseph.
Please, Joseph was my father.
Joseph was my father.
But yeah, Brian's character is named Joseph, and
Okay.
I'm going to make an effort to call you by your handle. I am going to apologize.
Make it up to use character voices.
Walmarty is probably just going to end up being called Marty by me.
Yeah, it's Marty for short.
Frog.
Nice. Nice work.
Okay.
Crane.
Wow.
Another frog.
There we go.
I'm charmed.
So I want to spend my money, Pat.
Okay.
How do I spend it?
Well, take your currency that you've got set aside, and so let's see. It was Ray and
Big D.
trying to remember who got unemployed. Was it?
It was the Dostals.
It was, yeah.
Of course,
Yes, both Dostals.
both Dossels.
Double D's.
So, So the ones who are still employed. New messages, Commander. Are you living in? I'm sorry, Fisher. You decided you needed to be under the chair. Oh no! Don't run away. You get to come say hi to everybody again.
Hi, Fisher.
Aw,
Family.
good face.
Good beard. Cat beard.
He's not exactly thrilled with my light that I've got set up for
No.
for this. So, MedTechie, Nomad, Corp. You could be in your own place. You could take a reduction in your currency that you've got to. So, if you have your own personally purchased residence, that's going to cost more than and be less. It's going to be more elaborate, but cost more than business housing. Let's call it. You get to decide on your housing. That is going to be a part of things. You can take, since most of you have a hefty chunk of change, you could take and prepay for an amount of months, so you're not having to sit back and be like, well, I guess I'm broke and my landlord's about to throw my ass out on the street. And that's a month of residence is gonna be €500. In corporate, it's gonna be 600 outside of corporate. Couch surfing is an option. Single, couple, you guys can debate, decide, since if the Dostals want their characters to actually to be separate, to be base separate entities, completely separate and meeting for the first time when everybody meets, that can happen. If you want to be married in game, we can do that.
I was going to ask, actually, are we all meeting in game, or is it established that we know each other?
You will all be meeting. You will all be meeting in game.
Okay.
In a tavern.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but it'll probably be a bar. Probably a fairly seedy bar.
Always a tavern.
A tavern.
That's how role-playing games
The
work.
saloon. Yeah.
Well, there is an entire game that an entire video game that I kind of based my concept off of for it. A game called Valhalla. No, Valhalla. The Cyberpunk bartending adventure.
Adventure.
Adventure. It's all based on adventure?
Yeah, you play a bartender and dealing with all the weird people that show the hell up, including like an idol and cat girls and pleasure cyborgs and all that kind of thing.
Like an average Tuesday.
Basically, I mean, it is Brian. I mean, for Brian, it's an average Tuesday. I don't know for everybody else.
That's what we do.
So, you can either take, and I'm not taking out any of the currency. Basically, everybody who's employed going forward, you can not worry too much about a lot of. You really won't have to worry a whole lot about like the residences and that. Money is going to flow pretty freely with you guys once it comes down to it. But
so for us who are unemployed, is there going to be an opportunity to become employed fairly quickly, or how does that work?
Get a job, bum.
Well, we can. That's going to be something that'll come into play pretty quickly. But that's also whether or not you're maintaining like a corporate job, like if you're going to go work for a company, or if you're going to make money off of being an edge runner. And because I mean, the med techies sitting there and might be doing some edge running just for a hobby, and just maybe she's got a contract with the corp, and he's basically just dragging her along while he's trying to make little things. And you got the nomad as the getaway driver, while you've got the corp trying to do some corporate espionage. And the medtech just wants to not get shot in the face and keep the client alive. Yes, finding jobs, you're all effectively mercenaries on the side of your day jobs. The only thing that you're missing, the only thing that you guys have lost, is your day jobs. And that's temporary. Because the thing is because here's the thing, you actually have an easier time with this because yes, you don't have the just steady flow of currency coming in. But if you're going to be out, if you have to go and stake out a guy for a couple of days, you don't have to find an excuse for your boss as to why you weren't around. And you don't have to dictate why are you not able to make it to your ER shift. There's a corporate meeting. Why are you running so late? So you guys almost have it easy. The money thing, not so much, but but yeah. For the most part, don't worry about even those you're unemployed. That was just for a bit of flavor. Guns. It's high tech low lives. You're in high technology, but you're dealing with people who are not great human beings. So I mean, you might want to be armed. Might want to, if you know what you're doing. Might want to be able to get around. You guys know how to fly gyros. Joseph, I guarantee, has his bike. Figure out the things that you're definitely going to want to keep around of those, and then we can start working. And then like the things that you're probably going to want a gun. Well, guns and swords and knives are all pretty cheap. To give you an idea, like a full-on, like a Kendachi Monokatana is gonna run you about €200. Handguns are, I mean, unless you're looking for a laser cannon, which will run you $8,000, but if you, but if you're looking for, a heavy auto pistol, that'll run you €400. These are not like the expensive things. The expensive things are the real chrome, the fun bits. You are going to want to look at body armor so that got a moth in here. I think I might have gotten it that time. But you're going to want to be able to buy some of that. But really, you can look into the gear stuff, and that's all relatively negligible compared to what you guys have. So if you guys have the books, the PDF of the books, you can jump to page 72. Because this is where the fun starts. And it's all the cybernetics. Now things are going to be surprisingly relatively cheap in comparison to a lot of things. Having a basic neural-aware processor is going to be €1,000. And that's basically that's going to be your chip socket. That's going to be the thing that lets your brain interface with your cybernetics. It says the chipware socket's 200 extra on top of that. I'll throw that one in for one. If you want extra sockets to be able to have multiple skills chipped in at the same time, then is when you're gonna be throwing some extra euro at it. So now's kind of the time when you get to ponder on what you want. And in fact, at this point, I'd say, since you guys do have the books, start thinking about what you want, and rather than like having it on the spot be like, I want cybernetic limb, I want da 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 da. Sit back and go through the books now that you know how much you've got to spend on it, and you can email me what you've picked up, what you're looking at. If you got anything weird, justify it. If you don't, having cyber optics with color shift is not really something you need to explain. At this point, I think that it's I'd say I'm going to send you guys off to figure out what you want to have for your stuff, and that way you can also build up your character in your mind and come up with your backstory and that kind of thing. You have plenty of options. Spending money is easy but takes forever, and you guys all know how to spend money. At least I like to think you do.
Come up with what you want.
Come up with what you want. Make sure you can pay for it. And if it's cybernetics, make sure you got the humanity to use it. Because you get low enough, somebody's going to come looking for you.
And humanity is the empathy times 10?
Correct.
Empathy times 10?
Yep.
Okay.
And what happened, and so what happens is you have your humanity, which is your empathy times 10. And your empathy will go down, your effective empathy will go down as you add cybernetics. Because you are less and less human. You relate less and less to the meat sacks around you. It's the reason why there is a cyber psycho squad who's going to come out and look for people and go out after people when they go nuts with cyber psychosis. But cyber psychosis is a fluid thing. Marty over there, with no chrome in him, is getting close to cyber psycho. But that's just because he's not. But he doesn't have the cybernetics to blame for that. Because that's just
who I am.
Yeah, just who he's who he is. One of the things that will get built up over time is I am going to let you spend points on bringing up your base skills, so those will be able to go up. You will be able to gain more empathy, even with even having you will learn how to better relate to the humans around you, even if you are borderline a cyber psycho, if you want to.
Can you give us a ballpark of how many months of rent we might want to prepay? I don't know how fast months go.
Months will go pretty slowly because it's I would say if you've got 2 or 3 saved up, you don't even need to have it spent, just saved up, and be like, this is allocated for rent. That's the way I'd put it. Gesundheit.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
But it's one of those things where rather than having already paid your landlord those 2 or 3 months worth, you can take and just have that sitting over to the side allocated. Because once your landlord has that money, you've got the space, but the money's gone. But the thing is that realistically at this point, don't worry about the rent. Don't worry about food. Brian's character is decidedly more used to kibble than Ready Pack, but he's not struggling. He's just used to it. When he gets a nice steak dinner, he's going to appreciate it more than Marty will. But yeah, that's the little things. Don't worry about. Worry about the things like making sure you've got your fixer. You hole up in the bar for people to come in for you to get what you need. You've lost a couple of your contacts because you really didn't get fired. The guy your main contact who you've been working with got on the bad side of Arasaka and you got lucky. So instead of you ending up in a nice cold hole in the landfill, you're holed up in the corner of a bar making phone calls. For Big D, it's kind of the same thing. You didn't really lose. You just lost the direct, steady flow of income. The gig you were on just ended. And so you're already looking for the next thing. Corey is working at. She's maybe working home in one of the clinic, one of the trauma team clinics. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You can, write your own backstory. I'm just spitting nonsense. Working her way up, but more concerned about just the day-to-day med stuff. It's hard getting kicked out of family as far as Joseph, and then Marty. He's in the boardroom making moves and all that. So, but yeah,
just think of what the character might have done before. You're in a situation where you're in a bar and meeting a bunch of new people to go on some dangerous adventure with, and just that's your backstory. Send it to Pat, and he'll work around it, and that'll be part of the story he tells.
I will make things work.
Okay.
But yeah, don't burn yourself out. Have fun.
One more quick question. When I'm looking at the cyberware list, there looks like there's a column for surgery.
Yes. Right now, you don't need to worry about those.
Okay, so I can either have surgery or not?
Well, no. It's that as far as the surgeries, at the point at which you are, you don't need to worry about it because any surgeries would have already been done.
Okay.
Those are more for
Future
if
add-ons?
for future, right? Because you need to have recovery time because if you're getting a cybernetic arm put on, you're going to surgery. They're cutting off your meat arm and grafting a, a full metal arm into your system. They're pulling out your shoulder blade and socket, and they're mounting that to you. That's pretty invasive surgery. That's pretty hefty. You're going to be recovering for a couple of weeks, at least, even with some stuff going in there. Cyber Eyes, a little bit less time, but you're still going to be recovering because they pulled your eyeball out of your head and crammed a new one in there. Not necessarily as invasive as cutting your arm or your leg off, but still problematic. But then you've also got things like I was showing these to Jonah and Brian earlier. You got things that are some of the absurd nonsense that you get in Chrome 2, where you can be a furry. and then you've got things like, and then the problematic one of the play being, which are usually added to exotics, but that's how you end up with the cat girls walking down the street that are effectively prostitutes. That they're literally hardwired to everything is hardwired to their pleasure center, their brain kind of thing. Those things all take recovery time. Like the let me pull these up just because it's handy. So like the cost of the surgeries, don't worry about those in doing this. But like if you're adding them to if you're getting something after the fact, cost of surgery is going to be is going to be a part of things that you're going to need to be concerned about. Getting your brain pulled out of your body out of your meat to get a full body replacement. That's a major surgery but with a surprisingly low recovery time because they're literally pulling your brain out, sticking it in a jar, and there you go into the new body. But as far as the stuff that you're getting now, the initial equipment, you don't need to worry about the surgeries. You don't need to worry about those kind of things. That's all. Those are all things to be worried about for. Well, I'd really like to get. I kind of wish I'd gotten this, but I've been playing 3 sessions without it. Or I didn't have the money for this at the start. I want to get this now, so it's also a thing like if you have to be away from a session or two because of work or whatever, work or a family vacation or anything. If you'd been thinking about getting another piece of cyberware, that's an easy write-off. Then we stick you in the hospital and you're recovering for a bit. So those things. Any other questions? Any other comments, concerns?
Sounds good, sir.
Hopefully this hasn't been too big of a trash fire for you guys.
Sounds good.
This is the longest that we will have without actual action, let's call it. Maybe not necessarily gunfights, but at least interaction between y'all. Because making characters is the most boring part of a tabletop role-playing game, and it takes the longest. Combat takes a while, but at least it's entertaining. But yeah, so just ponder on things and then let me know what you decide to pick up.
Roger that.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Woohoo!
Take care,
All
everybody.
right.
I hope y'all are having a good time in your isolation stations and staying safe.
I'll see y'all at the saloon.
Bye.
Corey Haim
Bye-bye.
out.